Have you ever felt completely drained after spending time with someone? Or maybe you've questioned your own values. Not because they changed, but because someone subtly pushed you to abandon them. Carl Jung, the legendary Swiss psychiatrist, believed that certain people can be toxic to your soul, slowly eroding your sense of purpose, self-worth, and identity. These individuals may not always be obvious, but their impact is deep and lasting. In this powerful video, we'll explore the 5 types of people Jung warned us to avoid: those who manipulate, exploit, or derail your personal growth. This isn't just self-help, it's survival. If you want to live with purpose, clarity, and strength, you must learn to recognize and distance yourself from these influences. Let's dive in and reclaim your power. Chapter 1. People who ask you to betray your values. There is a quiet moment in life when something feels off, when your inner voice whispers a warning. Though everything around you appears normal, this distant and soft and arises in the company of those who, intentionally or not, invite you to abandon your core values. These individuals don't always come with red flags. Sometimes they arrive wearing the mask of friendship, love, or opportunity. But beneath the surface lies a dangerous request: compromise who you are, just a little for me. Carl Jung often spoke of the shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves that we suppress or deny. But what happens when someone encourages us not just to face the shadow, but to become it? The danger emerges when a person nudges you to silence your conscience, laugh at what once disturbed you, or cross a moral line you had sworn never to touch. It might start small: skipping a promise, ignoring a wrongdoing, or justifying something you would have once condemned. But each act chips away at your integrity. And the deeper danger is not in the act itself, but in the transformation of your identity. Jung believed that true individuality arises from the tension between opposites: the conscious and the unconscious, the moral and the immoral. If someone urges you to betray your values, they are not asking you to grow. They are asking you to fracture that balance. You become divided, torn between your authentic self and a version of you built for their comfort, not your truth. It creates an internal war, which slowly drains your motivation, joy, and spiritual energy. Betraying your values isn't always about obvious crimes. Sometimes it's staying silent in the face of injustice, supporting something you don't believe in to maintain a relationship, or abandoning your spiritual practices because they inconvenience someone else. These betrayals may be small in the moment, but over time they erode your sense of self. And once you lose that your center, you begin to drift. You become spiritual unmoored. Jung taught that the goal of life is individuation, the process of becoming whole. To betray your values for the sake of another is to reverse that journey. It pulls you away from wholeness and deeper into fragmentation. And the worst part is, the more you betray your core, the more you lose motivation, passion, and clarity. Not because you're lazy or broken, but because your soul knows it's walking the wrong path. This is why it's critical to stay away from those who tempt you to betray your values. They are not just toxic, they are spiritual hazards. They pull you off your path, make you question your worth, and convince you that your boundaries are flaws to be corrected. But the truth is, your values are not weaknesses. They are your compass. They are the map to your higher self. And anyone who asks you to discard them is not walking beside you, they are pulling you into their shadow. The world is full of people who will test your integrity. Some do it out of their own pain, others out of selfishness or fear. But the choice is always yours. You must decide, moment by moment, whether you will stay true to the light within you or extinguish it for the comfort of others. Jung's wisdom reminds us the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And that journey can never begin by betraying the truth of your soul. Chapter 2. People who want you to suppress your emotions. As you begin to evolve spiritually, one of the most liberating and terrifying realizations is that your emotions are not your enemies, they are your guides. But not everyone sees it that way. In fact, some of the most damaging people in your life might be those who ask you directly or indirectly to suppress what you feel. We live in a world that glorifies control. Stay strong, don't cry, get over it. These phrases are often celebrated as signs of maturity or resilience. But Carl Jung believed otherwise. He saw repression as a dangerous split from the self. The more you push your emotions into the unconscious, the more they control you from the shadows. The truth is, people who ask you to suppress your emotions are often deeply uncomfortable with their own. When you cry, it threatens their numbness. When you express anger, it mirrors the rage they buried. When you speak your fears, it reminds them of everything they avoid. So they try to silence you not for your peace, but for their own comfort. This becomes a spiritual trap. You begin to believe that emotional suppression equals strength. But strength is not the absence of feeling, it's the courage to feel deeply without being destroyed by it. Suppressing your emotions doesn't make you enlightened. It makes you a prisoner of your own internal war. As you awaken, you'll begin to realize that emotional honesty is not just healing, it's holy. It connects you with the most vulnerable human part of yourself and with the divine. Those who try to silence that voice, even under the mask of love or advice, are not aligned with your path. And the deeper you go into your truth, the more sacred your emotions become. Let no one take that away from you. Chapter 3. People who demand you to live their version of your life. As we grow, one of the most subtle yet powerful forms of manipulation comes from those who, often with good intentions, try to mold us into their idea of who we should be. Carl Jung understood this deeply. He believed that the journey to individuation, or becoming who you truly are, requires breaking free from the projections of others. Yet, the people closest to us, family, friends, teachers, can be the very ones who unconsciously pull us away from our own path. These are the people who say things like, "You should be more practical. That's not a real job. Why can't you be more like your brother?" Their words are rooted in fear, tradition, or unfulfilled dreams. But make no mistake when someone insists that you must follow their version of life. They are asking you to abandon your own soul. It often starts subtly. They question your choices, plant seeds of doubt, praise others who conform, and gently or not so gently shame you when you dare to be different. Over time, if you're not careful, their voice becomes your inner critic. You start to hesitate before making decisions. You begin to question your instincts. And eventually, you might find yourself living a life that looks good on the outside but feels hollow on the inside. Jung warned against this trap. He knew that each soul has a unique path, a sacred contract written in the language of intuition, passion, and inner calling. No one else can read that map for you. The moment you surrender your compass to another person, no matter how well-meaning, you lose connection to your own North Star. Those who pressure you to live their version of your life may think they're helping, but in truth, they are afraid. Afraid of your freedom, afraid of what it says about their own unlived life. Your courage threatens their comfort, and so they disguise conformity as love, obedience as respect, and silence as wisdom. But you are not here to be a copy. You are here to be a living expression of your own truth. You were not born to fulfill someone else's script, you were born to write your own. Anyone who asks you to surrender that pen, even with kind words and familiar faces, is asking for something too sacred to give. In the end, your life must belong to you. Not your parents, not your partner, not your peers. To follow your own path may mean disappointing others. It may mean walking alone for a while, but it also means stepping into the only place where true meaning exists, your authentic self. And no one, no matter how close they are, has the right to take that from you. Chapter 4. People who drain your energy without giving anything in return. In every human relationship, there exists a natural rhythm of giving and receiving. This balance sustains emotional well-being and mutual respect. But sometimes, we encounter individuals who do not honor this rhythm, those who take, demand, and drain without any intention of replenishing. Carl Jung, in his exploration of human psychology and shadow work, Refer to this as a kind of unconscious parasitism. These people may not always intend to harm, but their presence in your life slowly chips away at your vitality, your peace, and even your motivation. After a spiritual awakening, your sensitivity heightens. You begin to feel the subtle energies around you, the heaviness in a room, the tension in someone's voice, or the exhaustion after a draining conversation. You may notice that certain people leave you feeling depleted, confused, or emotionally disturbed. They may always come to you with their problems, expecting you to listen, solve, or sympathize, but they rarely ask how you are. When you speak, they may barely listen or quickly shift the conversation back to themselves. Over time, you begin to carry their burdens without receiving any support in return. Jung believed that such one-sided relationships reflect and examine aspects of the self, our shadow. Sometimes we allow these patterns to persist because we seek validation, approval, or the illusion of being needed. But true spiritual growth requires boundaries. You can offer compassion without becoming someone's emotional dumping ground. You can care without sacrificing your own inner peace. Awakening teaches you that not everyone who needs you deserves you. This chapter is an invitation to notice who energizes you and who exhausts you. It's not about judgment, but awareness. When you reclaim your energy from those who abuse your presence, you make space for relationships rooted in reciprocity, respect, and genuine connection. Chapter 5. People who guilt you for growing and changing. One of the most subtle yet destructive types of people you must stay away from are those who guilt you for evolving. True growth is not just about acquiring new skills or habits. It's about transforming from within. It's about shedding old layers of identity that no longer serve you. But not everyone in your life will welcome that transformation. In fact, some will resist it. Some will fear it, and some will try to guilt you into staying the same. Carl Jung understood the process of individuation, becoming the person you are truly meant to be, as a lonely but necessary journey. Along this path, you'll outgrow people. You'll realize that certain conversations no longer nourish your soul. Certain habits no longer bring comfort. And certain relationships no longer align with your spirit. This is not selfishness, it is self-respect. But those who are uncomfortable with your evolution may try to pull you back, not with force, but with guilt. They might say things like, "You've changed," with a tone that suggests betrayal. They may accuse you of thinking you're better than them, or remind you of who you used to be, as if your past is a prison you're never allowed to leave. Some may even withdraw their support or affection, hoping to punish you into conformity. This guilt can be subtle, even wrapped in concern, but it's still control, and it's dangerous to your soul's expansion. Jung taught that the path to wholeness is rarely accepted by the masses, because it threatens the comfort of the collective. When you step into your power, you unknowingly hold up a mirror to those who've chosen comfort over courage. Your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Your light reveals their shadows. And not everyone wants to face that. But spiritual maturity means learning to walk away from those who cannot honor your evolution. You are not here to fit into someone else's limited version of you. You are here to become whole, even if that journey leaves some people behind. Protect your growth, cherish it, and never allow guilt to become the chain that holds you back from becoming who you were born to be. As we've explored in this video, Carl Jung's wisdom reminds us that the people we surround ourselves with have a profound influence on who we become. Staying away from those who manipulate, guilt, or pressure you into betraying yourself isn't just wise, it's necessary for your psychological and spiritual health. You are on a path of evolving into the fullest version of yourself. But not everyone will walk with you. Some will resist your light, others will try to dim it, and a few will demand that you shrink just to make them feel safe. Don't fall into that trap. As Jung once said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And that journey requires courage to stand alone, courage to walk away, and courage to protect your inner truth, even when others don't understand it. So, take this as your gentle but firm reminder you don't owe anyone your authenticity. You owe it to yourself. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear it today. Stay true, stay brave, and most importantly, stay you.